Okay, so it's 7 o'clock here in Norway, Central European summertime. Let me see if I am live. Yes, thankfully. And okay, so hold on. I need to just make sure that I can read the comments. There you go. Soon, very soon. There you go. Yes. Okay. So I am Lisbeth. If you're new to this, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Central European summertime or Central European time, I am doing a Facebook Live and we discuss different topics. And it's completely free, and all of the recordings are here on our Facebook page. So if you go to videos and if you scroll down, you can see all our previous Facebook Lives with guests and with me. So if you are here, please let me know in the comments. I love to hear from where you are or where you are sitting at the moment. You don't have to explain your whole life story. I am in Norway, in the south of Norway. We have nice weather again. It's been raining for a couple of weeks now, big flooding going on. So today I would like to talk about how we can train, how we can practice speaking dog, how we can get better at observing our dogs and getting to know their calming signals, because there's only one way of becoming good or fluent in another language, and that is to practice. We need to practice whatever language it is. If it's English or Chinese or Dutch, whatever, we have to speak, we have to practice. Same thing with learning a new language. We're going to learn how to understand dogs' language and also how we can use our body language so they understand us better. And this is really one of the core topics, the core things that we do in Nordic Dog Trainer is to learn how they communicate. So it's easier for us to understand them. Because to me, it makes perfect sense that as with humans, we have to get good at communicating. That's really the core and fundament of every good relationship. So I prepared a little PowerPoint, not with any pictures or descriptions, just to actually remind myself is it 4 or 5 points, suggestions I have for you, how you can start practicing yourself so that you become more familiar with your own dog's way of communicating and also other dogs. But remember, this is something that takes time. You're not doing this in a few weeks or a few months. If you just started level 1, we have 53 new students at level 1. Welcome everyone, by the way. Level 1 is a 20-week course. That's just a foundation. So you need to continuously observe dogs in different situations, different dogs, all ages, types, and so on. Forever. The more you observe, obviously, the better you become at speaking their language, right? That makes sense. And last week, was it last week or the week before? Now I can't remember. I think it was last week. We started the certification course by Turid Rugaas on calming signals. So I actually stole her homework. That's one of my suggestions that I'm going to tell you about now in a minute, that the students on her course got as their homework. And Turid just turned 85 years old yesterday. Maybe you saw the post. Thank you for all the congratulations. Turid sends her love and appreciation. She is still observing, and she loves observing. And actually, after we did the first lecture in her course, she gave out the homework to the students, and I had a chat with her on the phone afterwards. And I told her that, oh, wow, that's, it's so interesting. Maybe I should just, do the homework too. And then she said, yes, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. So Turid and I, we are also going to do her homework just to practice our communication muscles, for observing dogs to learn. So let me share my PowerPoint. Hold on. I will find it in a second. I have two screens, so that's why I really need to know what I'm doing here. Okay. Soon, you'll get the full screen. There you go. Nice picture, isn't it? So practice your canine language skills. Okay, so here are some advice or some suggestions for you on how you can, on your own, start or continue to observe dogs and train yourself to become better at understanding your dog and other dogs. And I suggest it's a good idea if you're all new to this, very new, you should start observing your own dog first. So this is a screenshot from Turid's homework last week. And the homework for the students was to meet dogs for the first time. So they have to go walk around and find places where they can meet dogs. And the homework is to note down the very first signal that the dogs is giving you, or like the students, when they see you. So if you are walking on a street or somewhere, and you notice a dog, the moment the dog is noticing you, that's what you should look for. What is the first sign that you can see? Doesn't matter how far it is away. I mean, if it's too far away so you can see anything, of course, it's difficult. But so it has to be the first signal that you can actually see. And the important thing here is to write things down. And this goes for all of my advice today, all of the homework tips or the training tips, is to always write things down, because we think we remember, but we don't. That goes for all of us. Some of you are better to remember than maybe me or other people, but we still need to write it down. And also when you write things down, it's a lot more interesting and fun to see the results later. So, okay, so the students at the Calming Signal certification course, they have to do this for 10 dogs every week for 4 weeks. So that's the first part of their homework. They have 2 parts in the homework. So they have to observe in 1 month 40 dogs, right? You, of course, this is not a homework because this is not a course, but the more, the better. Yeah. So the more dogs, the better. And it's the very first tiny signal that you can see. Again, if you're all new to this, if this is the first time you're watching this live, I strongly recommend that you read Turid's book on talking terms with dogs. I will try and remember to post the link to the book in the comments. If someone is here that knows about what I'm talking about, maybe you can help me and post a link. If not, I'll do it later. But read the book on talking terms with dogs, because that book is describing all the calming signals. There are many calming signals. We also have free lectures for you on calming signals. So if you go to our webpage, www.nordicdogtrainer.com, and it says free resources in the menu. And we have several different lectures that you can sign up for and watch for free. These are all free resources. So do that and read the book. The book is also an ebook, I know. So if you don't want the book itself, you can get it as an ebook, at least on dogwise.com. Okay, second suggestion for homework or for training yourself is to decide one of the calming signals. For example, licking the nose, looking to the side, lifting the paw. There are so many to choose from. Laying down, it's all up to you, but decide one. That's more than enough to start with, because that's how you train yourself to become better. You can't notice everything at once. It's very difficult. And a lot of these calming signals are very subtle, small signals. So you really need to watch them carefully, and actually filming with your mobile is a good idea, because then you can watch them over again and over again. And the more you see, the more times you see the video, the more you will see different signals that you probably didn't see the first time. So decide on one calming signal on your dog, on your own dog, that your own dog is using, and notice in what situations your dog is using that signal. So write it down again, always write down, take notes of your observations, and then after a while, you can start to see patterns. So this is a way to get to know your dog better, because we have to be extremely observant. This is the problem is not the right word for it, but it's a challenge. When I don't do so many dog courses now these days. I have more than enough with the dog trainer school, but I used to do many hundreds of classes for dog owners, training puppies and adolescent dogs especially, and senior dogs. And the dog owners, the caretakers, they are very often they're more interested in looking at everything else but their dog. They're watching at me, they're looking at me when I'm telling them to look at their dog. When I speak to a dog owner, I always look at their dog when I talk, not stare, but I'm very aware of what the dog is doing and what signals he's giving me, because the dog is telling the truth. The dog is telling how he feels in this moment. So if you're talking to a two-legged person who has a dog on a leash, and that person is telling, no, I don't think my dog is scared, it's not stressed, in these situations. If you look at the dog will tell you. Yeah. So this was the second tip. The third one is to observe when your dog is interacting with a dog friend, a dog that your dog knows and likes. That's a friend. People we don't like is not friends. So if your dog has a or several dog friends, go for a walk or just go and visit and sit down and again, observe. Observe and make notes, especially the very first signals that he or she is using when they meet a friend that they already know. Obviously, if it's a friend, they do. okay? And then you can compare that with other observations. If you're observing when your dog is greeting another dog that he doesn't know. So when you're out for a walk and your dog is greeting another dog that he doesn't know, you again make notes. And then that's a good thing with mobile. Then you're allowed to use your mobile. You know, when you're walking your dog, you should not be on your mobile. Please don't talk to your friends or anything. Have it on mute, you know, in your pocket. When you're walking your dog, your dog deserves to have your attention. So that is the fourth assignment you can do. To practice your own observation skills. And that's with your own dog. The last one is to observe other people's dogs, other dogs. And of course, you can do this with your dog as well. Just be very clear before you do these observation trainings. Decide for yourself what you're going to observe before you start, you know, doing it. If it's for trading purposes as such. If not, I always recommend just observe dogs whenever you get the chance. Observe, observe, observe. Of course, you don't always have to take notes, but it's a very good way to getting better at seeing the signals, noticing the signals. And this is very interesting because if you don't have your dog with you, you're more relaxed to do other things. You don't have to, you know, worry about your dog. So you can sit down and with a notebook, or that's very old-fashioned, isn't it? But a notebook or whatever, or your mobile, and make notes. Observe the signals when dogs are using when meeting another dog. So if you go to a park, it's an area, you know, there's a lot of people walking their dogs. It's an excellent place for observation. So just sit down and observe the dogs, meeting other dogs and people when they meet other people. If they, you know, when they pull on lead to go to the person, if they don't pull on lead, watch the signals, all the signals. Don't try to guess anything as such. Just try to observe it very objectively. Write down what you see, not how you feel, or not what you think the dog is feeling. Just write down objectively what you see. I think it's really interesting to observe where the dog in relation to the dog caretaker, the person on the other end of the leash. You see so many things. You see so many misunderstandings, sadly. Typical. If you have the opportunity to observe some kind of training with dogs and humans, you will see why there are so many misunderstandings. And very often it's because we, the people, we don't know the language well enough. So we don't understand what they mean. But once you know, and what you see, there is no going back, right? So when you know, and then you see all the misunderstandings, and you can see how easy it is to do things differently and make things easier for the dog. So it's easier to learn, less stressful. And if a dog is fearful or a little bit, you know, intimidated or whatever in the situation, there's really small changes, very often very small changes, like a little bit of more distance, people walking in a curve, you know, how we use our body language, if you're bending over the dog, how we pet the dog, how other people are petting the dog, our tone of voice, all of these kind of things. So it's very interesting. So this is what I would like to talk about today, is basically to hopefully motivate you to go out there and spend some time watching other dogs and your own dog in different situations, and write things down. Don't think that you're going to remember everything. And like I said, very importantly, I think, is to try and be objective. So no guessing. And this is in level 4. We're starting level 4 this weekend, actually. In level 4, our students are doing reports, they're doing consultations. And a big part of that, big part, is, of course, to observe the dog. And then it's crucial that they do not try to guess what they are feeling, because we don't know. So you need to try and be a bit objective. So when you have all the answers, when you've been observing for a while, you can start making more qualified guesses, adding 1 and 1, it makes 2, right? So when you have, the more experience you get, and the more skills you get, but now we're talking hundreds of dogs, not just a walk in the park on a Sunday. Yeah, you're not an expert then. And Turid is always, she's also emphasizing that she's been doing this for 60 years now. And I'm not saying that we have to do it for 60 years. And really, it's never too late to start. I don't want you to lose all your motivation, but just watching a few dogs doesn't make any sense. You have to observe a lot of dogs. And remember that dogs are individuals, and they have a common way of communicating. The dog's language, the body language, is the same. It's an international language. Clever animals, they have one language instead of different ones like we humans do. So it's a dog from Greece can talk to a dog from France without a problem, yeah, because they do understand each other. However, they use it in a little bit different ways. They are individuals, so they don't necessarily use the same calming signal for greeting. And it also depends very much on the situation and, how they feel at that moment, that day, and so on. Yeah. So I hope that I managed to give you some tips on how you can go out and observe dogs and get really fluent in dog language. That takes a while. I've been doing it for, let me see, I'm not very good when it's 25, 26 years or so. I think I'm pretty good, but can really always be better. But I love doing it. And just, the last thing I'm going to add today is also, I think Lubo had a very good post about it last week, or was it the week before, about doing nothing. This is what I learned from Turid when I went to her dog trainer school years ago. And she told me to start to do nothing, meaning that I need to be a little bit more relaxed, and we should all maybe relax a little bit, sit down, observe, do like a dog. They do it too. If you sit down, your dog will sit down as well, and relax. I saw a beautiful picture on Facebook this afternoon from one of our teachers, Marianne. Marianne, if you see this live, maybe you want to share the picture in the comments. Her dog was sitting, I think it was in front of a flower shop. It was just such a beautiful picture. Sitting there, observing, probably people in the streets, so taking their time. They're so much better to do that than we are. We are a lot more busy. So good luck with your homework. your own homework. You decide if you want to do this homework. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Bye.